Right, so I'm just cleaning up the rocker boxes and I'm just getting rid of the gasket goo and stuff, ready to take down to the last cleaners, and I'm going to be taking the actual rocker shaft out in a minute. But before I do that, so these are the 3 holes, and there are Allen screws that go in there, and they screw down to the lip of the cylinder head. But in each of these holes there is actually a little alloy washer. Okay, I've already taken them out of the is that the exhaust? I think that's the exhaust rocker, but I can see that in here are the washers are still in there, so I've got to prise them out. It's very easy to not see them, because they are the same colour, of course, as the actual casing itself. But if you don't prise them out and then replace them, that's definitely going to leak. So we're just going to see if we can prise them out now. It can be difficult. Okay, I've tried to set up the camera in the most awkward position for me that I can possibly think of, but I will try and prise these washers out where we can actually see them. Come on, come on, come on. You might do. Oh, there goes the camera. Damn. Come on. All right, let's try another one. Try the centre one. I think that centre one is in there. No, I think the centre one's out. I'm sure that one's definitely in there. That's the trouble, you can't work out whether they're in or not. This one's definitely in there. Come on. There we go. I hope, did we actually catch that on camera? Probably not. So we've got the M1 out. I think the centre one is already out. It's so difficult to tell. It's got a lot of gasket goo there, but I think looking at the depth of that, I think it's already out. But this one is still definitely in there. If I can actually get this on and get it on camera. Come on, come on. There we go. Have we got that? I think we've actually got that on camera. There. There, now look. Don't know if you can see that, but there's probably 2 or even 3, there's certainly 2 washers. See, because what's happened is in the past, someone has taken this apart, and as I say, it's difficult to work out whether there's still a washer in there or not, and they've, thinking the washer's out, they've put another washer in over the top of the first one, so it's got 2 washers in. Because, you know, it is difficult. I mean, I'm still looking and thinking, you know, are there washers in there or not? I think that they're all out, but it's very, very hard to work that out. I'm fairly sure there's not, that the one in the middle is already out. I'm sure it's that deep. There's no lip there, yeah. But it is very, very difficult anyway. But that's the thing. You have to prise these little damned aluminium washers out, and if you don't, then it will leak. Okay, so now we're going to try and get the actual rocker shafts out, and to do that, we're going to heat up the casing again. Especially at this end. Anyway, yeah, we're going to heat the casing up and then knock the shaft out. It sounds simple, but it's a pain in the backside. But obviously, before we do it, I've taken note. That's all little bits of gasket, by the way, in there. All those little bits where I've been shaving the old gasket off, because blast cleaning generally won't remove gaskets. It just like bounces off the gasket. This is a shame, because that's a bit you want to remove, but there we go. Yeah, you make a note of all where the washers go. You've got two types of washer on the rockers. You've got a Thackeray washer, which is like a little spring washer, a bit like on your key ring, and a plain washer. So always make note of where the washers go, because you know, you think, when you put it back, does it go that side or does it go that side? You know. So always worth making a note which what goes where before you take things apart. Right, I'm going to heat these up now and see if we can knock the shafts out. Okay, so I'm just finishing off heating up the cases, especially around the around this end, which has got a plain, it seals at this end, so it's got to be a tight fit. And then I've got a couple of blocks of wood, and we're going to stand it on its end and then see if we can knock the shaft through. Whatever, see what happens. I'll put the nut on fully there to give us something to knock against. Okay, and upend it because obviously the shaft's got to come out this end, and so we need it. Okay, let's give it a go. Get the sort of the tallow type of end there. See what happens. Yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out. Good. Take the nut off. It's nearly out now. You feel it's wanting to come out now. Above all, make sure we don't hit the fins. Okay, there we go. I've got a drift. There we go. Now it's out. Once it starts coming out, then that's it. We'll just pull it out, and there the shaft's out, and the rockers are just held in there now by the washers, the spring washers, and so on. Okay, and then we'll just pull them. I'll just pull out in a minute, and all the washers and that will go everywhere. And that's why we need to make sure we've identified everything before we take that apart. And in the end of this shaft there, let's have a look. There's an O-ring. Yeah, there's a groove there with an O-ring. Okay, and that's what stops the oil getting out. Obviously, this end we've got the nut on. That's where the oil comes in, but it's all screwed up with washers and so on. But that's just a blind end, so it's got that sealing to stop it leaking. So we're going to do exactly the same again now with the what's this? The exhaust rockers. Heat it up, knock the shaft out, and then we'll take the rockers out. Okay, there we go. The rocker shafts are out of both rocker boxes, and then once the shaft is out, I've just pulled the actual rockers out with their assortment of these sprung Thackeray washers and the plain washers. And I'm very glad actually that I taken the shaft out on the on that first rocker box, because the shaft on the second rocker box did not want to come out. I had to heat it and heat it and heat it and whack it and whack it. So I'm very glad that I showed you the first one, because the second one was a complete pain. But anyway, it came out. Heat and then more heat and then more heat. If things don't move, just keep heating them, and eventually they will. You know, especially if you're dealing with alloy and steel, because the alloy will always expand far more than the steel. Right. Okay. Yeah. So then I'm just bagging and setting up to bag and tag things, and the rockers are about ready to go down to be blast cleaned.